On Monday, January 13th, Transport Canada sent an email to dealerships and automakers across Canada to say that the federal iZEV program has officially come to a pause. Now, this included up to $5,000 of vehicle rebates on fully electric vehicles. It also included plug-in hybrid vehicles that had at least 49 kilometers of fully electric range. Now, we discussed this program quite a bit on Test Drive pre-2020 when we were featuring qualifying vehicles, so we're pretty familiar with this program. But how will this affect Canadians and the electrified vehicle sales moving forward? According to Transport Canada, the Incentives for Zero Emissions Vehicles program is on pause after the funds have been fully committed. Now, there's a chance that the program will reopen, but at this time, you shouldn't expect a federal rebate on electric vehicles. Now, if you signed a purchase agreement over the weekend, you may be out of luck. Now, the dealership isn't to blame though, as the federal government had made a statement Friday the 10th of January that the program would be put on pause by March or until the funds were depleted. It's unclear at this time if the funds are truly depleted, but the two announcements and their timing seem to be a little bit more than just a coincidence, considering, as of Friday the 10th, the federal government had about $71.8 million still set aside for this program, which would have been good for around 14,000 vehicles. And I don't know about you folks, but there's really no way that we sold 14,000 vehicles in 3 days. Now, Transport Canada says that over 546,000 vehicle incentives have been granted since the program went into effect back in 2019. So over the last 5 years, there's been some pretty strong sales for electrified vehicles, including again plug-in hybrids and fully electrics. Now, electrified sales have increased over the past 4 years, with Q3 new registrations in 2024 reaching just over 75,000 units. Now, Quebec leads that with over 40,000 new vehicle registrations, followed by Ontario at nearly 16,000, with BC coming in at just under 13,000. Now, fully electric vehicles outsold plug-in hybrid vehicles in 2023 by quite a bit. 330,000 electric vehicles versus around 145,000 plug-in hybrids. Now, we've featured a number of vehicles here on Test Drive, as I said, over the years, so we're pretty familiar with these vehicles. Is this going to affect sales? I have to say yes. Look at Quebec versus Ontario, where Quebec had a very strong incentive in the province for both fully electric and plug-in hybrid vehicles. It's something that we discussed quite a bit at length, where you could save up to almost $13,000 if you're buying a battery electric vehicle in Quebec. That number has been reduced over the years, and as of now, like I said, is put on pause, much like the federal program. So there are no incentives in the largest province for electric vehicles. But the fact that Quebec is so far ahead, not only when it comes to sales, but overall electrification and the infrastructure that goes in behind it, I can only imagine it is because of the strong incentives that the government was offering there. You could sell a lot more electric vehicles if you were offering bigger discounts. That's why sales in Ontario kind of took a dip after the smaller but effective program was turned off a couple years ago. Now that there are effectively no incentives at all for new electric vehicle sales, there will be some change in how people will be buying them. But at the same time, and I've been saying this for a while now, those who wanted to buy an electric vehicle weren't waiting for the incentives to run out. They've either already bought the vehicle or doesn't really play into them buying one because they've either bought one already, so they're going to be looking at a second or third electric vehicle and wouldn't qualify, or they're buying a vehicle that doesn't qualify for those anyway, based on price, maybe the range, and things like that. So while this program is put on pause right now, and the fate of it is still unclear as of filming this, I don't think that the overall sales will be impacted too dramatically. There might be a dip, and it might be a little bit harder for some to afford these vehicles, but I think what we're ultimately going to see is the manufacturers will have to step up and reduce the price of their vehicles. It's something that we've talked about quite a bit in 2023 and 2024, as a number of pretty high-profile electric vehicles saw some pretty dramatic price drops, including full MSRP changes, not just incentives by the manufacturer. So right now, if you're trying to buy an electric vehicle here in Canada, understand that you will not, I repeat, you will not get any federal incentives. The dealerships, just like us, were caught off guard and expected there to be at least something over the last couple days, but now there's not. So if you're going to a dealership, you're going to buy a new electric vehicle, you're pretty much paying full sticker price, minus maybe any negotiation you might be able to do with the salesperson. Now, we will let you know if this changes. As I said, the federal government has been pretty clear stating that this program is on pause. Pause, meaning there is still a program, hasn't been canceled, hasn't been shut off, it's just on pause. So maybe by March, we'll find out some more information. But we want to hear from you. We get back to every single comment that we get here on the channel. So if you have any questions or thoughts about the federal iZEV program, let us know in the comments below. Were you in the market for an electric vehicle and this has now derailed your plans? I want to hear about it. Or if you think that it's not going to make much of a change, we want to know too. So get in the comments below, join us on our Discord channel, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. For PRN, I'm Niall, and take care.